It has been nothing but hectic in Jeddah for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, and I don't even know where to start, honestly. And sometimes it's a good thing, but I think in this instance, it's kind of a bad thing. I say we start off with something positive first, and then we'll go into some of the other stuff. So some positive things first. Sergio Perez, Checo gets his first career pole. How about that? It seemed like the Ferraris were just on it, They were consistently on top of the charts through practice, through the first 2 rounds of qualifying. And, every once in a while, the Red Bulls, Perez, and Verstappen would put through a purple sector, sector 2 usually. But at the end, it really looked like there was a gap because Verstappen put down the 6th fastest lap or something. It was like, oh, that's disappointing for him. And then the Ferraris went 1-2. If initially it was Sainz and then Leclerc, but then Perez was in 3rd, and he wasn't too far off. And then Leclerc went on to provisional pole for the time, and I think he was maybe a 10th, a little bit less, ahead of Sainz. And then the last lap, the last few seconds of qualifying after time expired, Perez, he was green in the first sector, he was purple in the second sector, and then I don't remember if it was purple in the final sector, but he got pole position. He is his first career pole. I think they said it's the longest a driver has ever had between their first start and their first pole position. I think they said 2:15. He's also the first Mexican driver to ever get a pole position. I'm so happy for him. I mean, you can't not be happy for the guy. The guy's had such a long career, and he's had so many ups and downs. You love to see him succeed. So really happy for Perez. Great weekend for him so far. A pole position, his first pole position tomorrow. So we'll see how he does. So yeah, maybe he can get himself his 3rd career victory. And his last career win did come on a street circuit at Baku. So you never know. But as for everything else, oh boy. We had Lewis Hamilton getting knocked out in Q1. We had Mick Schumacher who had a scary crash. I want to talk about that one. Just give everyone an update on that because it was a really scary crash. He hit the wall very hard. I think they say he hit it at, I can't remember what they said. I think they said 150 or so miles an hour. I mean, Jeddah, the street circuit, it's a street circuit, first of all, so the walls are really close to each other, and it's a very fast street circuit, so, a mistake, you hit a curb wrong or something goes wrong with the car, then you're hitting the wall really, really hard, and that's what happened to Mick Schumacher. I can't remember if they said it was a mechanical failure or a driver error, or I really don't know what the problem is, but the most recent update from Haas, from their social media page, is that Mick is physically in a good condition, but will be flown by helicopter to hospital for further precautionary checkups. So, initially he crashed. I think it was out of turn 13, right, or before turn 13, before that kind of loop around on the first half of the track. Mick was going pretty fast. They were showing it, and then all of a sudden the car just snapped around, and you see him hit the wall pretty hard. All 4 wheels were off the ground. And, he was there, sitting there, and usually, after they get out of the car, the camera will zoom, and they'll go to the driver showing them out of the car and whatnot. Maybe the driver inspects the damage. Maybe the driver's just walking over the wall, going to an ambulance or something. But they didn't do this, which was kind of like the first alarming sign to me that they didn't show Mick getting out of the car. So, everyone was concerned there for a good chunk of time. No one was sure, is he okay? Is he conscious? No one knew anything. Then reports started to come in that he was indeed conscious, that he was talking to doctors, which was really good news. And then they said he went to the medical center. They said he was in contact with his mother, telling her, I'm fine, or, hey, I'm here still, I'm awake. Whatever that update may have been, but he did have contact with his mom. I don't know if she's at the track or if she is back at home. But then they said they gave this most recent update, which is that he is physically in a good condition, but he is going to a hospital for further checkups, which is good to hear that he is initially doing good in terms of his physical condition, but obviously hoping that those checkups at the hospital go well for Mick. Hopefully he is okay. No serious injuries, hopefully. I mean, he hit the wall really hard. It would be amazing to see if he really didn't have any injuries, but it's difficult to tell if he's going to race tomorrow. Obviously, if he's hurt in any way, if he's, maybe if he has like a concussion or something, or maybe even, you know, a broken rib or something like that. I really doubt that he would race tomorrow. I don't even know if they'll be able to fix the car tomorrow. I mean, the car fell apart when they tried to pick it up and lift it off the track. So I really don't know if he's going to race tomorrow, but I think priority number one obviously is his health and his safety. And if that is at all in doubt, then he should not be racing tomorrow. But obviously, we are all wishing the best for Mick Schumacher. Took a very, very, very hard hit in Q2, and he was actually looking pretty good before that, before an unfortunate crash, and we're all hoping that he was okay. If you want to go watch the crash replay, want to go see pictures and stuff, I mean, you can go find that somewhere else. I don't want to put it on here. If some people may not want to see it, so I mean, you can go find it yourself if you really want to. But yeah, so then, I mean, while we're on the bad news side of things, we got to talk about the whole situation starting yesterday. So Saudi Arabia is involved in a war right now. There's something with I believe it's like a Yemen. There's a conflict there, a civil war going on. Saudi Arabia has been involved in it. And yesterday, the rebels decided to attack an Aramco oil facility less than 10 miles away from the racetrack. And it caused a big fire, caused a lot of smoke. I don't know if anyone was hurt or killed. I really hope not. But yeah, you could see the smoke in the background of the track in the pictures. So that is not good. And of course, you know, the driver safety, the team safety, you know, this is more than just like a driver safety in terms of a crash or something. This is like there was a strike, a missile strike less than 10 miles away on a facility that just happens to sponsor F1. Yes, it's an oil facility. Yes, it's an oil company. I know there's quite a few of those in the Middle East and Saudi Arabia. They have a lot of oil companies. But, you know, it did hit close to the track, and the discussion did need to be held. Should we cancel the rest of the race weekend? There was lots of discussions. There was a discussion between FP1 and FP2, and they pushed back FP2 15 minutes. They decided to go on with FP2. They decided to hold more meetings afterwards in which they said they would be racing. There was an apparent vote. I don't know if it was like a true yes-no vote or if it was a say yes or you're not going to be in F1 anymore. I don't know what kind of vote it was, but the team principals apparently unanimously voted yes to racing, whereas the drivers had a meeting for over 3 hours past 1 a.m. Saudi time. And yeah, I'm pretty sure that discussions got heated in there. I'm not a reporter on that. I'm not there, but you're not meeting for 3 hours without having some type of discussion of not racing. If they all wanted to race, they all felt safe, they would have been out of there in 20 minutes. So something obviously was going on in there. Just I think discussions of not racing this weekend. And yeah, somehow, some way, Formula One and the drivers somehow agreed, somehow figured something out, and they're going to keep on with this race weekend. F1 released a statement, an official statement, earlier today, and it said, Formula One and the FIA can confirm that following discussions with all the teams and drivers, the 2022 FIA Formula One Saudi Arabian Grand Prix will continue as scheduled. Following the widely reported incident, I don't think it's just a widely reported incident, I think it actually happened, that took place in Jeddah on Friday, there has been extensive discussion between all stakeholders, the Saudi government, authorities, and security agencies who have given full and detailed assurances that the event is secure. It has been agreed with all stakeholders to maintain a clear and open dialogue throughout the event and for the future. Yeah, I don't know about that one. You know, this is, as I said, it's not just about driver safety in terms of, you know, the cars and stuff. This is more than that. This is the teams. This is the marshals. This is the officials. This is the fans, people at this event. You know, hopefully, I mean, I'm praying that nothing bad happens and, you know, nothing extreme happens, but you have to take into consideration the safety of everyone. It sounds like the drivers pushed back and said, no, F1, they are going to do everything they possibly can to race. You know why? In the words of Lewis Hamilton, Sebastian Vettel, cash is king. If they don't race, they don't get money. They have to refund tickets. So they have to race in order to get their big load of cash. F1 does. That's why they are going to push so hard to race. Whereas the drivers, I think, said, you know what, we don't want to race. We don't feel safe. F1, I don't know what they said or what they did, but they decided to race, and the drivers haven't said anything about it. So something must have been done. Something must have been said. There were people talking about how like the drivers were being held hostage. Like if they didn't race, they'd be held at the airport and they wouldn't be allowed to leave the country. I don't know how true that is. So I'm not going to state that as fact or even speculate that. But yeah, if we're going to talk about canceling races because of wars and stuff, I'm not trying to justify I'm not trying to say that we shouldn't have canceled the Russian Grand Prix. But if we are going to indeed cancel races due to countries being in war or being close geographically to war, you know, obviously Russia invaded Ukraine. That is a whole war going on right now. And Sochi is geographically close to Ukraine. You know, it's not like walking distance or anything, but it is pretty close where, you know, some things could happen. You guys know how war works. But now that there is a missile strike literally 10 miles away from the track, we're still racing. Yeah, I got to be honest. I don't really get that one. So, yeah, I'm not fully on board with this, to be honest with you. But I guess it's not my decision to make. I just don't get it. There's a lot of lives at the racetrack. There's a lot of people there. And, you know, hopefully nothing goes wrong. But if something is or were to go wrong, it would be catastrophic. And there'd be... F1 would be in quite the situation. Anyways, let's go back to the racing. Let's go back to the on-track. I don't want to talk about that anymore. It's frustrating. It really is. Yeah, hypocrisy, fun. Anyways, to qualifying. Let's look at the results. Sergio Perez gets his first career pole. How about that? Checo with the amazing qualifying lap. I love you. You're amazing. That's his first career pole. He put it on the front row last year in the second race of the year at Imola. So, you know, front row Checo in the second race of the year is not a bad nickname. It's a long nickname, but it is one. He beats Charles Leclerc by 0.025 seconds. That is very close. Carlos Sainz in the Ferrari 0.2 off in third. Max Verstappen just, what is that, 59 hundredths off of Carlos. Then you got Esteban Ocon in fifth. Both Alpines make Q3. George Russell qualifies fifth. We will talk about his teammate, Lewis Hamilton, later. Boy, that is going to be a discussion point. Seventh place, Russell was sixth. Fernando Alonso, seventh. Valtteri Bottas extends his Q3 streak. Let's go, Bottas. Man, I'm telling you, I felt so bad when he got booted out of Mercedes. And in my head, I was like, that'd be so cool if he went and he stuck it to Mercedes and beat them in his first year without them in an Alfa Romeo. You know, he hasn't like straight up beaten them both in like one race or anything, but he has beat one of them in both of the qualifying sessions. He beat Russell last week. He beat Hamilton this week. So Bottas, go get him. 9th, Pierre Gasly. 10th, Kevin Magnussen. The second straight week of a Haas in Q3. You'll love to see it. 11th, Lando Norris. 12th, Daniel Ricciardo. McLaren picking it up a bit. Last week was horrific. That's an understatement. Last week, I think they finished like 14th and 15th, and that's only because there were 3 DNFs in front of them. They struggled all weekend. I don't think either of them made it out of Q3, or if they did, they were the worst car in Q2. They struggled a ton last week. They both make it to Q2 this week. They qualify 11th and 12th. Zhou Guanyu, 13th. Mick Schumacher, 14th. We talked about him a little bit, obviously hoping he is okay, but he was actually looking pretty good. I think he had the ninth fastest time before his crash, but hopefully he's all right. If there's any updates, I will update you. Community posts. 15th, Lance Stroll. 16th, Lewis Hamilton. For the first time since 2009, his McLaren days, Lewis Hamilton has been knocked out in Q1 when it's not raining or he hasn't crashed in Q1. So Lewis Hamilton, I'm shocked beyond belief. Obviously the Mercedes is nowhere near what it has been the past 6 or 7 years, 8 years, however many championships they've won. When they've dominated, they haven't been close to that, but they have not been awful. They were the third best car last week, plain and simple. And this week, Lewis Hamilton, I don't know what happened. He didn't look good. I don't know if it was him, if it was the car, but he was struggling big time. It didn't matter the tires. It didn't matter what they did that car. Like, he'd be going into a left-hander, and he would be turning right because the car would be sliding so much that he would have to wrestle the wheel. Whereas when you went to George Russell's onboard cam, he would be smooth through the turn, and he was just slower compared to, like, the Red Bulls and the Ferraris, but he was still fast. But then you go to Lewis Hamilton, he is, like, ripping the wheel every which direction, trying to keep the car on track. And it's a knockout in Q1, and that I can't believe it. Like, if you told me, Mercedes, I thought they were sandbagging at the beginning of the season, and I thought maybe, okay, if they truly aren't as good as Ferrari and Red Bull, they'll be third best. I don't know what this is. Russell's up there. I don't know what they did with this car. This car has something wrong with it. I can't believe it. I can't. I genuinely thought it was like a fake video. I was watching live broadcast. I thought it was fake. Mind blown. Absolutely mind blown. I don't know how he's going to do tomorrow, but Mercedes, what are you doing? We've all been wanting your downfall forever now, but what is this? Your best driver, the guy who's helped you dominate. 16th. 16th. I don't know where it is over here, but what is this? We'll just assume 16th is right there. What is this? I'm mind blown. Albon 17th, Hulkenberg 18th, Vettel's out again with COVID. I really hope he's okay. Vettel, hopefully you're okay. 19th, Latifi, he crashed in qualifying. He is indeed okay. He got out of the car. 20th, Yuki Tsunoda did not even put a lap down because he had some type of issue. The Red Bull powertrain is like having problems again. But it's only day 2. It's only day 2 of this weekend, and we've had missile strikes. We've had Lewis Hamilton getting knocked out in Q1. We've had Mick Schumacher with a horrific crash. Once again, I really hope he's okay. I will give you guys updates, I promise. And we've had a Sergio Perez pole for the first time ever, and one of those makes me really happy. Sergio Perez, so happy for you. Mercedes downfall. Everyone's rooting for that, so, except for Mercedes fans. As for the other two, I don't know what else to say on them. But this has been just a very unique weekend. It's not been a great weekend for F1. Sure, it's been exciting with the Checo pole and stuff, and, seeing Mercedes fall off the face of the earth somehow, or Lewis Hamilton, whatever is wrong with them. Surely they'll be better at some point. But, a lot of questions being asked. Is this street circuit too dangerous? It was discussed before its first race last year. I think there was someone got hurt in the F2 race last year, but it was discussed, very high-speed track and very close quarters in terms of the walls. So there was always talks, is the track too dangerous? And, if it truly is, I'm just praying to God that we get through tomorrow safely without any incidents. We saw last year, even in the F1 race, second or third restart, there was a huge crash. Mazepin got in the air. He was like on top of the Williams. I mean, it's a dangerous track. Obviously, motorsports are always going to be dangerous, but you got to try to limit that danger as much as possible. As for the other thing, as for the missile strike, I hope no one got hurt in that. I really don't know. I haven't heard anything. So, thanks for watching this. Like, subscribe, share, and I'm hoping tomorrow's just a normal day.